All right, so I went down through all those trees right there and kind of cleaned up a little bit the chunks and stuff, so that way it wouldn't look bad, because I can't get down there and mulch. I wish I can get down in there, because that way it would make a chute down through that way. But I may try to mulch on that backside, who knows. But for time wise, I'm trying to get done what the customers wanting done and needing done, and what I'm being paid for. So I got all that stuff up there, and the excavator's over there, and that's the longest tree I've mulched so far. Well, mulched so far, as in just straight back and forth. So I tried to get all the chunks of dirt and all that out of the ends, picked them up, dropped them 100 times. So I don't know if you can really see it, but I mean, it's nothing but cedar that I've mulched so far. But that's one thing about dozers. They came in, it was literally about right in here. They didn't really have much grass. I mean, you can see how much I've mulched in and out because of the dozer piles. They had a big dozer come in and just push everything in. That's nice, but if they could have pushed it in piles and then you could have cleaned it out yourself, cut them up, burned them or whatever. But there's a couple things good about dozers, but I'm not going to get into it. That's what some people do for a living. That's them, but some of them can do good, actually make it look clean. But I got a few chunks here and there. I'm gonna try to get these big chunks, because he's gonna have like a rock hound come in and chew everything up, like the dirt and the rocks. So a few chunks here and there. I'm gonna go ahead and get those cleaned up, and then we'll get back to mulching. think that pile took me about 38 minutes. Man, started getting hot. Bet you know why. That's the cedar dusties. I knew it was getting awful hot pretty quick. So I'm gonna scrape up all these chunks right here. And it's looking pretty good though. Oh man. Nice. So I'm gonna come in and rake some of this stuff. I'm gonna try to get this cleaned up a little bit. I didn't want to come over here because all of this dark. I mean, that's solid rock. It's freaking clay. So I'm gonna get all this because I got to come over here and mulch half that broken. I don't know how I'm gonna do it like that, which I have to go at it, but I may have to shave it up and down. And then I got some chunks and stuff like out through there, bunch of trees. I'm gonna go ahead and try to clean up some of these random pieces here. That way it'll look cleaner. Got some right there. These are pretty big. This is probably the biggest one I'll mulch right here. I mean, I'm really mulching money right here, but if I went 2 hours away, I'd take them and let somebody else use them. But yeah, it's going pretty good, shredding away. We still gotta clean that corner up there, but that's all rock, so I'll have to use the excavator and rip all that stuff, bring it down here. I'm not sure about any of that. It's a bunch of dozer piles. But for the time wise, all I have time is to clean the rest of this up, dig the trench, clean that up tomorrow. Or if I can get to it now, I'm gonna go ahead and rake everything out while the machine's cooling down. I'm gonna clean all that off. But you could really see it now. It's nice and open. I was hoping to clean the valley because we was wanting this in between all this right here, because we was going to cut it all the way. So there's a shooting stand there, there's one over there, and there's that big nice one right there. But we was hoping to clean all this up so that way they would come in between here and there, so that way this one could see it and the one behind me over here can see the deer coming in and out. But at least you can kind of see it's thinned out. But what sucks is I couldn't get down there because of all the rock. So the only thing I told him to do is he can go in there and hand cut it, which would take forever. So well, we're gonna go ahead and get this knocked off, cleaned up, and we're gonna go ahead and get the excavator and start ripping out some more to mulch it up. All right, so I got everything pulled out from over here, and then I got to mulch all this up. And then I got to go up there and rip out that corner right there to square it off, because there's a tree stand there, so that way it opens up that whole end. And then I got to go back over there later this afternoon or tomorrow and pick up all the stumps and stuff like that, move them out of the way, try to mulch some of them up. But we'll go ahead and try to mulch. We got a little bit of daylight. It's almost 6. It's very close to 6, or probably at 6. We got just a few more minutes, and if I can get all this right here mulched and some of that, I don't care, as long as we get a pretty good chunk. We got a big cedar tree right there. Now I got to go over and mulch some of the edges right down through there. So just trying to get the big material, and then I can go back and do all the little stuff. And I got chunks right there, one right there. It's just where it slung it out. So I'll do that last because I'm gonna have a bunch down through here. So I mean, look at these beautiful logs, which are, some of them are bad because they got holes in them, so they wouldn't have been good anyway. They're ruined. But Go ahead and get it mulched, get it going so that way I can get a bunch done. Knives are holding up pretty decent. I mean, I've been hitting rocks all day. I mean, it's limestone, so it's holding it, but it's curling the edges, so we'll just have to sharpen them up. Nice. Look at all that cedar. Got all kinds of chunks laying out there everywhere. Got several logs back that way. I got some strode out that way. I'll just have to go get, and then I'll have to mulch out one tomorrow. I'm gonna go ahead and spend at least 10-15 minutes. It's getting close. Sun's right above the trees, so it'll be getting dark pretty soon. So I'm gonna have to take all these chunks like this. This is what I don't like to see, stuff like that. And I'll be spending the next 15-20 minutes just picking up a bunch of chunks. So it's looking pretty good. I like how this turned out because you couldn't even get in here like all the way up to those trees right there. Like all this right here was just thick. And then like that stuff like that, I don't like it. These chunks, stuff like that right there will get mulched. But the deer should like this pretty good bit. A lot of it. So got all that mulched. See stuff like this, try to get it too. This is how it ended. I mean, this is the best I could do with all the rock, but this should make it a lot better for hunting. So turned out pretty good. And then I tried over there, there's just so much rock. I'm not breaking my machine, but I'm breaking a track. I done experienced that the hard way. All right, so parking the machine for the night. It's pretty dusty, pretty nasty. Got the trailer all decked out and ready to head back over to over here. What's up? I was hoping to get my trailer in here. I probably could, but it's a big drop off that corner over there. So we had the water marked, and then the cable route. So I was afraid I was going to sling and hit a car. Ain't nothing wrong with throwing it in the weeds. It'll die off anyway. So it's kind of hard to I just kind of barely scraped. So I took the skid steer, you can see where I took the track, and then try to pack it down, but I didn't want to get too far because I didn't want it to wash off. If I had my bucket, I could have made it, but I didn't know it was going to be clay. I thought it was going to be dirt, so dirt would have been a lot easier to pack. I mean, he's got a great big old mound. It's probably at least 4 foot tall, so I don't know what else to do with that. So then I threw me a big old pile over here and mulched it up. So I'll show you that down there once I get down there. And so it's nice. You can see some of these all the way down here, they didn't even have a swoop in it. So I did all that by myself. So I did all the way down here. It's getting dark, you can't see. I got another like 7-8 minutes walk. So it's nice and clean. I'll show you in the morning. So yeah, you can kind of see, I mean, it's all nice. I mean, this was growed up, but this is starting to be sand. So I'll show you in the morning. All right, 4th day in. I had to crank the truck up about 5 o'clock this morning. It was a little cold. You can see your breath in the truck. So I'm gonna get some grease real quick. We're gonna take the excavator and dig a trench to go ahead and get that, because I figured about 3 to 4 hours, because I got to go all the way down here, all the way up around the curve, all the way up. So it shouldn't take long with a 4-foot bucket, but it's also kind of wet too, so that should help me. So but kind of getting halfway ready, you know, getting everything cleaned up, got my stuff moved. That way all I gotta do is just, when I get back to camp, you know, start loading everything up. So I'll have everything ready, got all my trash bagged. But whew, a little cold this morning, so got that warmed up so that way I don't have to freeze my tail off. I'm gonna take some of this stuff right here. I was gonna chop all this up, but I thought I'd be burning more stuff, but I'm gonna come in here and take and rip that stuff out. That's what he wanted me to, just kind of so that way he can back in and pull out. So he's got plenty of area now, because it was about right in here. You can kind of see where I mulched a little bit. And then this right here, there's another cedar tree hanging halfway out, so he could barely get in here. So he's got plenty of room now. So go ahead and get everything ripped up, cleaned up, and we'll go ahead and start digging real quick. All right, so the way I got this going, I don't know whether to keep it deeper. If as I go down, we're going downhill a pretty good incline, so I'll show you what I done. So it comes off his culvert, comes sharp, and this tree is mounded up, so it's kind of just flowing down through here. So that's more than a foot, but some places I figured if as long as I can keep it going, it should stay pretty steady down through there. Because see, here's the other side, and it just spider webs. So if I can keep the height up, and then it should just roll down the hill, and then as soon as it gets to the bottom, it should turn. That's the way we're hoping. So that's what we got. You can see, set here, if you look back, it's going downhill. So keep enough momentum and a good ditch, it should push it all the way through. This is turning out pretty good because it's mostly sand. You can see it's pretty wet right here, but what I like about it is it being sandy dirt, is I can get it. Oh Jesus, look at that. I don't know if that's good or not, but some spots it's pretty packed, but you can see. Oh yeah, look at that. Get that glare out of the way, man. Look at that. That ought to do pretty good. Oh shoot, holds water though, so that's pretty good. So we got a little bit. We're almost at the curve, probably another 30 foot, and then we'll be around the curve, and then we'll be shooting beside our camp, which is probably at least another 120 foot. All right, so this is another runoff that runs off somewhere, so I went ahead and dug it that way. Got this one, having to dig deeper due to that being like this right here, so it's doing some of the job right here. It's holding water. I think it started springing out water. So I'm not sure. I'm a little high right here. I think I'm a little high. That gradually grades down. That's what I got. All right, so we don't like much over here to being done. Got to get all these logs, all these little chunks. I got to go over and hit that tree over there, kind of clean up a little bit, and then just like little chunks here and there. I got all that cleaned up yesterday. Got those little chunks over here. And then going up there where that feeder's at, cleaning it up, because I excavated all that yesterday, and all I gotta do is just go in there and just kind of hit all the little twigs. But other than that, the rest of that's just rock. I can't get in there. The only thing I can think of is let it die off during the winter and just burn it off. Maybe have a controlled fire or something like that. But we're gonna go ahead and get back to it, finish this up. And I stopped over there where I last showed with the excavator digging the trench, because I think if I go any further, we're gonna have a belly. There's a culvert that's literally right there where I stopped, and that's why I stopped there, because I'm thinking that we're gonna have a belly, and I could dig down to where it'll eventually go out, but it's just I'm having to dig deeper to the point where we'll be like 3 or 4 foot down, and it'll just hold water all the time. So I was going to stop, let the customer get here, and we're just going to keep on a trucking over here, getting it cleaned up. So let's get to it. here's this big old feeder. All I did was just come in here and just take all this up. He's got a little bit of dozer pile pushes up here, which I didn't break them down that good. But what I did is I cut everything because there's a bunch of rock right in here. Is the reason why I didn't want to roll a track. So a deer is going to follow this. So the way he had it and all that, deer's coming straight in here. So that's why I took this right here, opened this up. So that tree stand right there, there's also a tree stand right behind all this right here. I was going to chop it, clean it up, but he needs a barrier. So I took a little chute down that way, opened it up where they're coming right in, and see, like all this is rock, little pebbles. I mean, all that little stuff like that right there, like the whitest look, whitest gray. That's all rock. I mean, this is nothing but rock. But you can see the mulching down there. I mean, where I mulched, I mean, it looks real good. It's a good head. Let's see. Need to check that hole. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. That's not good. The only thing holding is all that mulch behind here, so thank goodness. It's been a good one. It's got 33.49 on it. So pretty much finishing up, and then I mean, this is what we talked about doing. We was going to shoot across right here because that tree stands right there in that big tree right there. So he was wanting to be able to look straight across. I would have been able to do that in an amount of time, but if it wasn't rocking bulldozers. But if we hadn't spent the time for, like, if it was no rocks, I could have came in and excavated all this out where you could shoot straight across for the deer. That's what he was wanting, but we didn't have that much of an option. So, you know, bunch of rocks right in here, stuff like that. Till you come in here, nothing but rock. See, all this is rock, all the way up, all that way. If that was pushed out more that way, we could get all that in there. But it is what it is. Go ahead and pull this out and mulch it up. Get back in here and mulch some of this stuff up over here in this corner. I didn't realize I slung it out over here. I was able to get in some here, but you can see rock and rock here, rock, 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 rock. I just kind of got in there to push. Was thinking it was just you know, like a couple here and there, rock. All down through here. And I was able to come in here, but I didn't like it because I wanted to open this up because it was literally just a block. And see, now got this opened up a little bit. Maybe that'll start letting them come in here. Maybe he can put some feed in here. Stuff like that. But until he gets here and he tells me everything's good, then we'll be finished. But that way you'll have the ending there. So I think we mulched about 20 something logs over here. I mean, this looks really good because he didn't have all this right here. I mean, it was all dozed. About right in here, right there where that grass is. Kind of just done that right there. But that's it for this, and then I'll show you until he comes and tells me. Then we're still finishing up the trench, so we should be leaving in a couple hours. I'd say another 3 hours, because that depends on what he wants me to do, and that's what we got to do. And but that way he can have more shooting range now. So it's nice and cleaned up. Pretty slick. So here's a better look. I got it at the start, got all the way down here, and it's mostly sand. You can tell where it starts getting sandy. More up. So I was trying to keep all the dirt and whatever I pulled out on that side, so the way the water don't wash out that way. I'm gonna keep a barrier. And this side's staying pretty wet because you can see the water. So it's got a nice gradual turn to it as I went. And then all this right here. So what sucked is I had a big old root stuck in there. And then I came right in here and see I'm having a problem right here where it's just holding water. And that's where I was trying to tell the customer that this is the lowest point, and I'd have to dig. I mean, I was digging pretty deep. I was over about a foot, but I'd have to dig about 4 foot down probably. So I may have to come back in and dig this a little lower, because I was trying to stay up on that side, but that's right on the line. I was getting pretty close. So the culvert is right in here. So I was telling the customer, I think it had to shoot between here or over there. I'm not really sure. I'd have to re-look at it. I think it's right here. Yeah, it's right here. I can see the culvert right in between these two big trees right here. So I may have to get on the back side. May have to get back in here and push all this back in. That way I can probably just push that back all in there and then cut it straight in, so that way it just goes straight out that way. So we'll have to see when it gets here. You can see we're a little high, but I'll have to come back in and rake it down. Luckily, because as soon as I started scraping, there's water started pouring out. So that right there, once I get all this dug, and then because I'm gonna dig all this before I get up there, because I want to be able to see if it's going to be a nice gradual turn. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this cleaned up and then make my way over to it. That way he can see it, because I told him I'd be having to be digging pretty deep, because you can see it's going uphill. So, and that would take me forever. It'd be different if it was all downhill and that'd be easy, but I didn't get it that way. So I'm gonna go ahead and start fixing this, and then we'll go ahead and go over and get camp cleaned up and ready for him to get here, because it's taking an hour for him to get here. So that's about how far he is. the lower side. You can tell it's already trenched, so you ain't gotta really worry about anything. I'll show you up here. It's holding water now. Some of that I got in there and trenched. If it was already trenched, it was cleaned out, I didn't do nothing. 450's having a little problem here. It's a little muddy. See right in here, it's holding water, trenched. That's pretty much it. Got that, and then we got the trench down below where we was digging earlier for the new trench. I'll show you shortly where we ended it. It didn't go exactly as planned, but we got it to a lot better than what it was going to be. That's it. We're going to go ahead and get loaded. My trailer's over here, and so we fixing to head home. We got a 2-hour ride, and it'll be past dark by the time we get home, so need to hurry up and get everything loaded and get everything tied down. If it's gonna blow out, get it and tie it up. So if you like this one's was a lot on me, just because it's by myself. We had, you know, problems getting, you know, things going, and it was last minute, so it is what it is. But if you like that one, this kind of work as by myself camping, it's very hard by myself, but you know, we got it going, no big deal. But there's a lot more jobs coming, hopefully, so just hang in there. Let me know what you think on about everything, the videos, what you need to see more of, want to see of. So if you like this one, give me a like, and also go subscribe to me. That helps me out to keep going and pushing. So see you on the next one. So here's the trench. I had to go in a couple of places. This right here was washed out. This is what was washing out, and then it would wash out this and then go down that way. So we back dragged, made it look good. Ran out of breath because I ran this far, but look at that, nice. And he already had a culvert here, so it was washing out right in here, and it was washing out that and this. So here was our camp. We I don't think I've done any before and afters, even my pictures before, but this was his turnaround right here. So we came in, we set up camp, we had garbage all over the place, but when you leave, make sure you clean your stuff up. So all this stuff was overhanging, couldn't even get I got my truck back here, but it was scraping. So this is how much I cleaned up. So that's it. The trench, we was going to do it from right here all the way over there on the other side of the woods, but it didn't work out that way. So it looks a lot better. It's foot and a half, 2 foot, and then I back dragged that down there. This was completely washed. It's like a hidden spring down there. So It's looking pretty good. He's very happy about how everything came out, but he wasn't happy because we had initial plans, but it didn't work that way. But he was still happy either way. But that looks pretty freaking good.